3, 2, 1.
Okay. Welcome, audience. Good morning, respected teacher, guests, proud parent, and beloved student. Welcome to Cikal Bincang session 10. One of the activities in our playground of Cikal learning event. Thank you for coming today. First, let me introduce myself. I'm DK, and I will be your moderator for this session. Okay, before we begin the student activities, let me give you a picture of what to expect for the next hour. In this session, we have Mikhail Toga and Biru Laut. They are both from year 10 Cikal Serpong and will lead you in their activities where they will have a discussion with the title of Education Then, Now, Tomorrow. During this session, it is encouraged the audience participates in the activities. Please write down any question you have for the speakers through the chat feature of Zoom or YouTube. And let's give a round of applause and warm welcome to our student, Michael Toga and Biru Laut. The time is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Today I am Rula from year 10 Cikal Serpong, and today I have Mikhail with me. Mikhail's gonna do most of the talking, so I'll leave it to him. The floor is yours, Mikhail.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Mikhail. It still is Mikhail. Today I want to discuss and I want to talk about something that I've sort of snuck my way into the past year for researching, which is education, especially now during the pandemic. But I'm not going to really be focusing on online learning. As the title suggests, I will be talking about learning. Yesterday, the past, today, the present, and tomorrow, what it holds for the future. Without further ado, let me begin. First, I want to talk about the state of education. Now, this will be, I guess, based in Indonesia because that's where most of my research stands from. So with that out of the way, let me start. The state of education. This refers to how education is. What are the state of teachers? What are the state of the systems implemented? Are there tests? Are there not tests? The state of education. Now, during this pandemic, the state of education has been primarily that of distance learning, or that of learning outside of school. Now, first, I want to talk about the past state of education, beginning with the start of the pandemic, nearing the start of the school year of this school year. First, distance learning. Okay, during this presentation, I will be referring to distance learning as learning outside of school. I'll also be referring as learning inside of school as physical learning. Without further ado, let me start with my point. Distance learning. This has been the only, it's the most prevalent way for students and teachers to learn and to teach outside of school, outside of physical school. There are two primary methods that are in Indonesia. These are, one, online learning, which is the most famous the news cover headline version of distance learning. This is probably the most prevalent, the most talked about, because it is very much the one that most people use, especially for those with internet. Now, when we're talking about the past, especially with online education or online learning, it's a bit rough. The schedule is, I guess it's what you can, it's exactly how it sounds. You're taking physical school and you're translating that, not translating, you're taking it, you're copy pasting it, and just putting it into a new format, which is online, based in meeting platforms such as Zoom, Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, and all the other meeting platforms out there. I'll discuss this more in depth later, but first I want to move on to the next method, which is having lots of homework and lots of material. Now, online learning is not the only way people learn, because sadly, not all of us have access to internet or electricity or any device that can allow us to access online learning. And that's why for the lower classes, especially with lower economy, what they have is lots of homework. This means teachers will go to every student's house in order to deliver them homework and material for the term or for the semester, or I guess for the whole school year. Now, I want to talk about the present a bit later, but when it comes to this, the present isn't too different. I'll talk about what this does later, but just know that it hasn't really changed compared to online learning, that is. Now, moving on to the present state of online learning, distance learning, I meant. This is different. It really is different. It's an evolution of the platform, of the standard, of the medium, because over the past year, half a year, teachers and students have both learned, and there's a few methods that they came up with. Some changes are, one, with this school system itself. It just took a massive pandemic to change it, but I guess there is change. There's changes in schedule, the material, how teachers teach, if you enter class or not. Now, this is specifically for online learning, and I want to mention this, and I will mention this a lot of times during this presentation. When I researched, it was not that broad. I only researched based on 5 schools, some teachers, a few students, maybe totaling 20. It's not that much. But from what I've seen and from who I've interviewed, from who I've talked to, these are some of the changes that are most prevalent in their schools, at least. Second is method. When I talk about method, it's how teachers teach. And there's a few different ways that teachers have adapted or put into teaching. And a lot of this comes from and stems from awareness. Now, this awareness is about the student's capabilities. And capabilities, I don't mean by how smart a student is, how athletic they are, or any of those other standards, but awareness of that students as humans all have emotions that can make them perform better or worse, or can make them learn better, or make them not learn at all. This awareness has allowed teachers to develop new systems to better fit their students. Second is matter, the material itself. Now, again, this all ties back to awareness of the students. Mainly for matter, it's the material being shorter or more condensed. I'll touch on this a bit more later, but for now, that's all you need to know. Now, this is where I'll explain most of the points I made previously. A new era of education. There's been a lot of lessons people have learned and people have gotten, teachers and students especially, throughout the school year, throughout this past school year. And some of these lessons include, some of these methods include non-synchronous education, which, again, only interviewed a few people, only interviewed a few schools, don't have that much evidence. So this is based on my small view compared to someone who would do research on a broader perspective. But from what I've seen, one, non-synchronous education. Complicated words, but it's a very simple concept. Teachers not needing students to be in class to learn. In a way, it's comparable to material-based distance learning, where students get materials and they will learn. They'll read the material or they'll do the work. But what's most important about this is that it's not the entire curriculum. It's a breather, it's a refresher, or it's a warm-up. Why is this so good? What's the positives about it? It's the fact, well, time. It's such a benefit to have more time. And non-synchronous education allows students who may work faster or students who may work slower to have their own time to work on it. Those faster students can finish it in a snap and they can move on to other work. Or they can use their time to, I don't know, look after their mental health or other things that are pretty important during a pandemic. Second is material. This is a bit more explanation or exposition on something I covered earlier, which was matter. A lot of material is shorter, more condensed, more bite-sized. It is given to the students, they learn, and that's it. Teachers don't have to spend as much time in class, students don't have to spend as much time in class, but everyone can learn. This is very much based on scheduling as well, because now scheduling in a lot of schools have been changed to fit the needs of students. There are more rest. There's more rest time for students. There's more free time for students. And sessions are shorter and more spread out. This all ties back to material. The material is shorter, more condensed, and easier to digest. Work. This is similar to material. I don't know if many students have noticed this, but teachers have been giving a lot less work than they did at the beginning of the pandemic. Let's say in the beginning, a lot of people assume a lot of free time at home means that more work can be done. Yeah, that's pretty simple logic, right? But it turns out that that's not that true. In fact, productivity has gone down ever since people were stuck at home. That's why with work, having less work and work that's more well thought out or well planned is very beneficial to the student. I'm going to repeat this over and over again, but it all has to do with time. How much time a student has. Time to work on other projects that may not relate with school. Time to rest. Time to goof off. But all this time is important, especially for people who are developing, people who want to spend time with their family. Especially in a situation where people are stressed, time is extremely important. And that's why less work, well thought out work, spread out work, all these things that have been implemented are so great. Interactive learning. This is something so odd to observe from an online class where people don't meet face to face, because you would think that there would be less interaction. But in truth, there's even more now, especially because you cannot see someone face to face. Now, there's a few mediums that people use, such as quizzes and games, or just entertaining mediums. But in general, these are not the only mediums. It's all about finding the right medium or the right engagement for students. I haven't really covered why it's important to have engagement or interaction. Well, I guess I just did. Engagement. Interaction gives engagement, and engagement means teachers need to spend less time yelling at students or forcing them to turn on their cameras, and more time teaching and covering the material. Engagement is something quite rare to find in most classes these days, because it's easy to forget that all teachers have to do is tell the student to focus or shut up. and they will focus, right? Well, not really. It's easy to forget that, well, some students just don't really focus and can't really remember because they're not engaged in class. And this is something that I think a lot of teachers are just kind of giving more importance to, keeping their class engaging, keeping their class interesting, making it so they don't have to talk to students. They don't have to warn students, to threaten them in order to make them focus. I'll cover this a bit more later, but for now, let's move on. Okay, returning to form, tomorrow. Now that vaccines are rolling out, a lot of people are immune and safe to go outside. It's only a matter of time until schools open up again. And when they do, well, all of what we learn will probably get thrown away. But that shouldn't be the case because there's so many important lessons that we can take away from online learning, from teachers and students experiencing this. There's so many methods, so many important lessons that need to be kept and need to still be used. Student engagement. I just covered this, but it seems like not a lot of teachers really care about student engagement. All they care about is covering the material and getting it up. Students can learn if they want, or they cannot be engaged. But that shouldn't be the case. Class should be engaging because, well, if it is, class is interesting. I only know of a few teachers that make it possible for me to be engaged in a class, for me to pay attention properly. And that's not a lot of teachers. Let's say 1 or 2 out of 30 or 50. But now it seems like everyone is getting the point that you need to engage students because it's not that hard, actually. It depends on the teacher and it depends on the students, but you just need to find the students, find their personalities, or just find what the students want and give it to them. Okay, maybe that's a bit more difficult than I make it sound, but yes, engagement. This is something that I think should be carried forward throughout physical learning as well. Second is spreading out work. This is both for teachers and for students, because let's face it, there's a lot of schoolwork that gets tossed around when it comes to physical learning. Homework, worksheets, posters, essays, all of these things are constantly given to you because, well, what else are you going to do? That's how you practice. But now it seems like students are performing better because their work is more spread out, it's easier to digest, and it's more well thought out. Spreading out work, making it so each work that students get and teachers make are high quality or well thought out, make it better for both sides. It's basically a win-win. Now, my conclusion, but not really a conclusion, because there's more stuff to say. I haven't covered about something pretty important that a few people have told me about, which is proof of education. I've talked a lot about student engagement, increased performance, and wow, there's so many benefits to all these methods that I mentioned and all these methods discovered during online learning. But what's the proof? Is there any? Well, for the, I don't know how many, because I'm not paying attention, viewers, well, what you're watching right now is the proof. This is exactly the proof of learning. This presentation was research over a span of this entire school year throughout multiple subjects, not just social studies. It's something that I learned a bit of and I got interested in, and using the opportunity I had in every subject to learn more about it, to research about it, to write about it, to make something about it. This is the proof of learning. Every student that you see, every exhibition you see, every presentation you watch, every talk show that you listen to, every concert that you see, these are all proof of students learning. It's because throughout the year, they've been given opportunities to learn and to make these things. Okay, one more thing. It's not too important, but research. I didn't really give any proof for my research, and I still can't because I don't have a definite research. But I can say that it's mostly in interviews. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of this research was done throughout the entire school year, interviewing teachers, other students, even faculty members of a lot of different schools, maybe about 5 schools. Most of the interviews are what gave me insight into most of the things, as well as experiencing myself, seeing my schedules get changed, seeing how classes work, how teachers spend less time in class actually, and more they give us more time to work on our own things. That is it. Thank you very much. That is it for my presentation. Next, don't leave yet because we will answer questions, and I am interviewing the moderator, the host, Rua. So get up here, Rua. Hello there, Rua.
Hey, Mikhail.
Okay.
So do you want to answer questions first or do you want to ask me first?
Are there questions?
There is one from Pak Nala. I'll read it to you. Ketika jadwal sudah di-adjust lebih banyak individual time, bagaimana caranya supaya ini bisa dimanfaatkan dengan secara maksimal baik untuk guru dan khususnya siswa?
Okay. I don't understand half these words, but I'll try to answer.
I'll repeat it to you.
No, I got it. Well, I got it.
Do you?
Well, it depends on what the student thinks is maximizing their time and what is useful to them. For some students, what is useful may be sleeping or playing video games, or I don't know what people do these days, watching YouTube. For some people, that may be studying. For some people, they may be doing work. But giving free time, I guess, in any of these situations, it's positive for students especially. I don't know about the teachers. Yeah, that's, I guess, my answer. Is there anything else? No, right?
No.
Okay, so let's do an interview for like 15 minutes while we wait for questions. Hello, Rua.
Hey, Mikhail.
Okay, so I have a few questions for you, specifically about your experience during this online learning, during distance learning.
Hit me.
Okay, so first of all, what do you think of the presentation? Are the points I make relevant to you as a student? Are they true? Are they false?
Personally, to myself, is it relevant to me? Of course, yeah, but I think you're overgeneralizing it. I guess this is just like experiences that you have and people in, let's say, Cikal have, because I know that is not the case for all of the other kids who goes to the other schools. Some of them actually struggle more since the pandemic. Some of them, there might actually be more work and more difficult tasks that they are assigned. So is it relevant? Yes, but maybe just to us who go to school in Cikal and maybe like a couple other schools.
Yeah, that's, I have to agree with your point here. As I mentioned earlier, my research is extremely narrow. I only interviewed a few schools, and most of them are pretty similar to each other. So yeah, I think that's why a lot of the points of views are, maybe a little narrow. Okay, next question about your experience. Well, you kind of briefly covered it earlier, but what do you think? Like, is this online learning for you positive? Is it negative? And like, why?
I would say it is more to the negative side, but maybe not that major. There are some perks and some pros, basically, of online learning that it may make learning for me more comfortable or more easy. But I feel like online learning makes I don't really like it. I feel like I can't manage my time as well as when we're in school. I feel like there's no. I would say if we're learning from school, there is, in a way, a learning spirit because of social interactions. I get to meet my friends. I get to talk to other people face to face, and I feel that that again that makes my spirit higher, I guess, and makes me more interested in learning. Whereas when we're at home, there's none of that. So I kind of feel like um, it's just I have to do it, and I don't actually have any um, basically motivation of doing it.
Like, is there like a lack of motivation, as in like, is it, you said it's because of like social, you have social motivations at school? Is it maybe at home you're lacking focus or something?
Yeah, I do lack focus at home, but I think I've gotten the hang of it. So I feel as such the let's say this is the beginning of the pandemic and this is the end. I feel like so at the beginning there was this spirit and there was this interest in online learning because it was a new and unique experience, right? I don't think anyone has ever heard going to school but at home and doing it with video calls and stuff. So my spirit was like at that, and at that time, I think everyone was turning their cameras on because we're still like getting the hang of online school. So it was pretty high, and then there was a time where I felt like so the slope looks like this. In the middle, I felt as I am demotivated and I don't really have any interest in learning from home because yeah, it's not interesting and I lose focus, and because I lose focus, I miss. I think my grades are kind of going down, and like that also again also that also motivates me. And basically it's because at that time the spirit of basically like my motivation because of the uniqueness of online school, it's just gone, it dissipates. So what's left is just like the struggles of online school, right? But then it goes back up because I've gotten the hang of it. I've figured it out basically, and maybe there are still some struggles I have with online learning, but it's not as bad as that time because I know how to work it now.
So like these struggles, is this because of school? Is this because of you being at home? Like why? Is it school
Um,
side or is it?
yeah, no, um, it's more about learning from home because I'm a pretty social person, and I would say that getting to talk to other people and discussing things with them definitely makes my spirit higher. That is something that I do not have at home. So what's left is just me trying to do my work, basically.
So after, do you feel like you're learning anything in school?
Yes, definitely. I am still definitely learning something from school, but maybe not as effective or not as thorough as if we were actually at school.
So like if I ask you, do you remember what you learned in the second term of mathematics, let's say? Do you remember what you learned?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
like if you gave me a maybe not a test, but maybe just like a mathematical equation of something we learned from term two, I can probably solve it. But if you ask me what we learned in term two, I can't remember.
So what made you maybe not remember? Is this like something regular to you, like at school as well?
Yeah,
If
at
you were
school as well.
physically
I
there,
think
you were.
yeah, it's just I don't remember what we learned because there's so much things we learned anyways. Did I learn it? And again, I can do it, but I don't remember what it was if you ask me that.
Okay, okay. So, okay, jumping off from that into a completely different topic here. Um, what do you think are the negatives, I guess, of learning? You mentioned there's some struggles and stuff. What are the specific negatives of learning from home or, being at home?
Here's what I say. Maybe I'm pretty sure like the things I consider as a struggle or negatives are actually some positives for you, because I know you actually prefer, from your presentation, you actually prefer learning from home, and you don't feel like turning your cameras on is something necessary. I guess that's the difference between us, and something discussable. But I would say my struggles are more to the focus side. Like I can't, because we're at home. There's nobody that actually drills me to like do something. There's only me in my room, and um, it that actually makes me miss deadlines most of the time, because I can't. My self control isn't as strong, so when I'm alone and I have an assignment to do, but there's only me. Sometimes I can't do it because well, I because of the self control thing. There's nobody there to like tell me, Rula, you have to do that assignment. So yeah.
Did you miss being looked at over the shoulder and being threatened to finish your work?
We were never threatened, Mikhail,
You're threatened to
but
finish your work.
no, I don't miss that part. But I guess also part of it was um, being motivated, because like, hey, look, Ryan's already finished with that. I need to finish it too. So I guess that's also part of it. But again, I'm gonna say there is no learning spirit, because I'm alone in my room. That's a struggle.
Okay, so I think, as I can see from you, for you personally, it's mostly because of the social. Is it that? So it's the environment at school that makes you motivated to learn, if I'm correct?
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay, so moving on from that topic completely. I heard you earlier mocking my view on cameras, and I would like to
It was not
interrogate.
mocking.
Not mocking. Oh, there's a question. From different types of engagement during online learning, which one do you think has the most success? Do I answer that?
Yeah, it's your
Okay.
thing. You do it.
So that depends on the student and each class. As I talked to some teachers, a lot of them say that, creative things don't always work. Some students like having a normal class and not wasting their time, or feel like they're wasting their time on something weird or something that seems useless. So I can't really answer this, but we can say it depends, I guess. Like, Rua, how about you? You personally, what do you think is the most effective type of engagement for you?
In online learning,
Yeah, during online learning.
what are the types of engagements?
I don't know. When are you most engaged during class? Like, what class are you most engaged?
I would say this actually tracks back to our previous discussion, which is, I guess, the classes that, I guess, the times where we actually turn our cameras on. I don't know why, but I'm actually. So there's this one time with Miss TS, and she told us to turn on our cameras, and I get to see everyone else, and I get to see Miss TS really happy because we turn on our cameras, and um, seeing all of that actually made my spirits higher. I actually finished assignments that day because I was, yeah, my spirits was high. I was motivated. I don't know. I think it's a pretty abstract concept on why, but yeah, I was pretty motivated on working.
That's actually really interesting because, like, yeah, a lot of people that I know, just let's not say people that I know. I personally don't like it when I'm being watched, but it feels like at school that's quite normal, right? Everyone is watching you. I mean, you can see people at all times, so why is that something that is weird? Now back to my interrogation, Rua. If there's no more questions, I'm going back to my interrogation, Rua. But I kind of got most of what you're thinking of why you like the cameras. Is it a thing where is it motivating, or is it that for you is it that I don't know.
What about the cameras?
Yeah, about the camera. Yeah, of course. That's the most
Well,
important topic
wait,
here.
no. I mean, like at the beginning of the pandemic, when we like first started online learning, I was like, um, I was like pretty not excited about turning on cameras, but I guess if every class suddenly mandatory makes it mandatory for us to turn on our cameras, I wouldn't like it. But I really don't know. I think it's just maybe my motivation is not based on things like turning on camera, turning off camera, but more about um, a different way of engaging something. So you remember when I said at the beginning of online learning, I actually was pretty excited and motivated because it was different, right? This is also the same. I guess the norm was that turning on cameras. So turning off cameras was like my preferred thing. But now everyone's turning off cameras, and turning on cameras was a thing. So I guess the difference and just making the experience unique and different from the norm is actually pretty motivating for me.
Okay, we have a question here. First, the first part of the question, no. The second part is quite
Hey, hi, you guys.
Hi. No. Second,
Hi,
do
you guys have
relationships
girlfriends.
during
How
the
to live a
pandemic?
relationship during a
Social
pandemic?
relationships? Well, you have friends, right?
I
can't
have friends,
speak
but
for
I don't
them.
have a girlfriend.
No, you have a friend, right? How do you like interact with them? Maybe this is more like a pandemic thing, but like, let's say schoolwork, group work. How do you like talk with people during that?
We don't. We usually just like it depends on like the severity of the group work. I would say sometimes we would make a group chat, but sometimes we just like message each other and like you guys do the pictures and you guys do the writing and blah 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 blah, and eventually it comes together. But if you ask me about engaging with my friends during the pandemic, I would say here's the thing. So I like to play on the PlayStation, right? And there's a voice call thing. There's a voice call thing on it, right? So when we're playing, we can like talk to each other. That's actually how I socialize with my friends because usually when I play on the PlayStation, my intentions aren't actually playing a game. My intentions are uh, talking to my friends about weird subjects and blah 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 blah. But I don't think, and that's been happening since before the pandemic. So I feel as nothing has really changed socially for me.
Okay. Okay, back to group work. Do you prefer like this way of group work? Just okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, or do you prefer during physical learning when we're at school where you like sit down in a desk and you engage each other and maybe not work for an hour and then work at home?
I would
What do you prefer?
I would prefer doing it at school. But here's the thing. I know people don't actually share my motivation for socializing. I know people just prefer. I know people. Some people like probably you don't like group work,
I actually
but
agree with your point. I prefer group work at school as well.
yeah. But then, especially like doing group work with the especially doing group work with like video calls, I don't actually prefer that because I know other people don't prefer that. So and anyways, it's easier if we like communicate using chat anyways. So yeah.
Okay. I had a question, but I completely forgot. So there's like 6 minutes left. If there's no more questions, shall we end it early?
There's 6 minutes left. Any other questions? No, I mean we got 6 minutes to wait. You got anything else you wanna drill me about?
I had a question, but I completely forgot.
How about wait? How about you? Do you have like any? How do you socialize with friends? Do you not
Yep.
have
Okay.
any
First of all,
friends?
yeah, that's exactly the point. I don't have friends. That's how I
Then go
socialize.
make friends.
How?
What do you mean how?
No, it's just usually like
Go.
I just sometimes like chat with them on WhatsApp for a bit. That's like how I socialize with my
Yeah,
friends.
but
To the
like
extent of it.
you don't need to have friends at school. I feel like even though people at school are my friends, we don't actually click, and that's actually fine because I have other friends, like well, yeah, my PlayStation friends, and yeah, well, I have other friends outside of school, and they actually click with me. So yeah, you don't need to like go find friends at school. You can go maybe on Reddit or something and go find friends.
Bro, the people on Reddit are all toxic. Why would I be friends
Yeah,
with them?
that's a stupid
They're so
answer.
scary.
They're so scary.
What's so scary?
Go play. I thought you play a video game or something. Go find friends in that.
They're all offline. Okay. I play I have friends. Like I sometimes play like with them, but like that's very
Go.
rare.
How about like tetangga gitu? You don't have any.
My neighbors
Neighbors?
have children. They're like 5.
Go play with 5-year-old. How about
They're
cousins?
too old for me, man. My brain is like
I mean,
that
like
of a
I
2-year-old.
feel like most people who don't like hanging out with friends are because they don't actually have any close friends. I'm not saying they don't have any friends, but they don't have friends who they can talk to all the time and are interested, are mutually interested. So I guess go find friends or something.
Okay, well, that's my moral of this story. This is the most I've learned. Anyways, I think we can conclude this session.
Yeah.
Would you like to close it, Rua?
So this is the end of our session. I would, to be honest, I would say that this would be more better in the Cikal talk format, but like I don't think Mikhail made it for that.
Will I be
for the
positive?
Cikal
Will I be
Bincang.
positive? Will I be
Okay, I'm being positive. Okay. Introductions. Thank you all for watching. This has been Rula and Mikhail.
Watch Rua later. He has 2 sessions.
Yeah, I got a session at 1, but you guys don't need to watch that.
Oh, okay, let's give a virtual applause for the student. Nah, thank you to Michael Toga and Biru Laut for your amazing session. It's great to see the wonderful talents our student and what they have learned through our virtual classroom. I hope that you enjoy today's session and have learned something new from today. I would like to remind you all that this event doesn't stop today. After the session, there are still Cikal Talk, Cikal Bincang, fun activity, virtual performance. You can also browse through our virtual gallery in our website. You can see all our event on our website and check out other stream event on Sekolah Cikal official YouTube. Lastly, I would like to say thank you one more time to all the audience today here, fellow students, proud parents, and also respected talents. Thank you, good morning, and see you.